Hello, folks, and welcome to 10 Points Under, where 10 points is enough to buy you a starting zone space on the island.
I'm True.
And I'm Taylor.
And
I'm Chris.
we have a special guest named Chris Perkins. How are you today, Chris?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. Yourself? Ready to see a good game here?
I'm doing well. I am doing well. And yes, I hope we have a good game. I'm already excited. I'm seeing some armies I could jive with, except for some dirty spiders. So
yeah, it's okay. It's not everybody's as scared of spiders as you are, True. Yeah, joining us today we got Chris Perkins. Just because we'd be remiss if we did not throw a little bit of an introduction in here for him. I'm sure if you've been watching our videos for a little while, Chris Perkins, I believe, has been in the most of our videos. So this time we're getting him on the commentary side of things. We're really looking forward to having your expertise and commentary, your insight into the game that we like to talk about, but you are probably better at than us. Chris, one of my favorite players. Love watching him play. Love playing against him. I just played against him. We won't talk about that game though.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the nice intro there. And yeah, it's great to be on this side of the camera for once.
it's nice to have you. It is nice to have you.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to you. Anyway, Taylor, why don't you tell us what our fine folks at home have in store for tonight?
Today, we've got a game from round 2 of the Bring 2 Online Heroscape Season 34 tournament thingamajigger that we've got going on right now. This game is between Doc and newcomer to our channel, at least, BodaciousBlood. So Doc, we all know Doc. He's a great player, incredible player. He did a video with us. He's been in a few videos that we've casted. He's won the Gen Con main event more than once, which is great. I believe 3 times, but really good player. He's over on the left. He's got Karos, 3 squads of the Furelag Spiders, Guilty McCreech, and Quayhan, who was just in one of our other videos, so you might know her from that. If not, cards in the description below. Also cards in the description below for BodaciousBlood's army, because there's a lot of C3V custom stuff in it, so if you're unfamiliar with it, make sure you check out the cards. BodaciousBlood has Raylan, and Iron Golem is one of the classic cards. He also has Talongal, who is basically an order marker hub type guy with large constructs. So he also has Boreos and Elgamo. Boreos is the white wind blob, and Elgamo is the big stone golem. Basically what Talongal gets to do is when you reveal an order marker on his card, he takes a turn with 2 larger huge constructs that you control. So he'll be basically Kurok for the big guys, except he doesn't get to bring them back.
And there's less fire.
Less fire this time, which is a bummer, but it's okay. We'll get over it. As far as BodaciousBlood goes, he's a really cool player. He's one of our Utah players. True and I have met him, played with him a few times. Great guy. I love him. He's a great addition to our scene here in Utah, and a really good player. He's a bit newer, but he's done really well. I've been really impressed with his play. You know, one of those players where he comes in and he's new and you expect to be like, okay, we'll kind of show him how it goes. And then turns out he doesn't need to be shown how it goes because he's already pretty good.
Yeah, if he will just take you out. No mercy. No fear.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we have any starting speculations on this, how this game's going to go? Do we want to take bets?
Take bets? I can't take bets. I already know round 2 is already over. So
every time.
Hey, I didn't watch this game, but the round is over, so I know who won. Fine. I'm pretty sure Chris knows who won.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I didn't watch the game live, but I have, participating in round 3 and seen all the records after round 2, so familiar with at least the final score of the game.
Spoilers all.
So on that note, yes, I'd love to take bets.
Crap. Oh, well, okay. I feel like this is going to be slightly edged.
It's okay. We'll watch your astonishment, True.
Indeed. Well, let's let her rip there, Taylor.
Alrighty. Go ahead and get her started with a nice, strong initiative opening for BodaciousBlood.
Yeah, Bodacious is rolling 15 to start her off. I wonder who he activates here. Looks like he's going to start off with Iron Golem?
Yep, looks like it. Going for the treasure glyph right there.
Oh, man. Doing the exact opposite of what Dysel is doing. I see. Not rolling ones. It's a good strategy.
It's a good strategy. Yeah.
Preferable with anyone but Marku, at least. Except for Marku, rather.
Fair enough. Very fair.
That's always was always an odd power in terms of how it's reversed the high roll and the D20 being bad. It's always bugged me a little bit that it's the inverse.
Yeah, I kind of like it because that means that Loden doesn't help you to avoid it.
That's a very
That's true. It led to some interesting rules at the Old Man tournament that they introduced at Gen Con last year, where they introduced some special format rules, but one of them being, instead of the rule being you can choose to increase your D20, it was you can choose to increase or decrease your D20 rules.
Oh,
so a little bit of trying to add a new realm of flexibility there in terms of whether you might want to run Marku and have less of a chance of him actually betraying you.
That's cool. Kind of like that. I checked out that Old Man tourney little rules thing. Not too much because I didn't go to Gen Con, but it seemed pretty cool. But that is more expertise that Chris Perkins is going to be bringing to us. You go to Gen Con, do you go every year? Or?
I've been the last 2 years. I've enjoyed it, planning on keeping going back. But yeah, 2 years ago was the first year I was able to make it out. But definitely lots of fun for anyone who's thinking about it and maybe wants to try and get out in the future. I would suggest you should. It's a good time. Playing Heroscape on the floor of an NFL stadium is a very unique experience.
I can imagine it has a whole realm of possibilities to it.
It does. It's interesting opening here with Bodacious going south with the golem instead of north.
I was just thinking that. Also, Doc not going for that treasure glyph as well. Kind of interesting. Although after
heard stories about Dysel.
Yeah, Dysel's like, I heard you're playing Quahan. Do not go for the treasure glyph. Quahan hates treasure. It's a no-go, man. No-go.
Because from Bodacious's army, I mean, the Iron Golem's best use by far, I would say here, would be to try and engage with Quahan if at all possible. Well, like, or not, or just run the opposite direction.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that for sure. I also think it's interesting that, and like once he saw that the order markers were on spiders and he knew that Quahan was coming in, which he probably could have figured was going to happen anyway. Quahan up there in the north, he's now got all of his figures on the south, but Raylan is in between them. So that kind of
in between them just enough to where Quahan can line up that special attack to ping off Raylan onto some of those further south figures.
Yeah, that's really vulnerable, I feel like.
It could be possible that Bodacious is trying to lead Raylan into some sort of bait position, but it looks like...
Okay. So I think he thought that he would be able to reposition Raylan with Boreos. Boreos can move figures that he flies over, much like a wyvern can. Bonus is that he can move friendly figures, but he cannot move flying figures, so you cannot move Raylan.
Yeah, that is a big oof on his part.
Yeah, it looks like the golem's heading back north then to try and protect Raylan a bit.
That's still going to be a pretty decent special attack coming in from Quahan, though.
For sure.
This will probably hurt. That makes a lot more sense from BodaciousBlood's opening. It's too bad that he didn't catch that he can't move Raylan with Boreos. We'll see if he's able to recover.
One can hope. Although, in that position, it looks like that Iron Golem is going to be able to engage Quahan there.
1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite.
No, it would have to be 6 move.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Curse of the double
Doc's
space
using
there.
that one edge of height gap at the edge pretty effectively to keep the double space away.
Oof, and 3 skulls from that special. That is not great.
That is. Oh, wow. And not great defense from 7 dice with Boreos there. Average defense with 6.
Yeah, scoring 5 wounds on round 1. That's pretty good.
It's quite an effective opening.
Yeah, I'm sure Doc is happy with that. And Quahan is still safe for at least another turn. Yeah, not the happiest place for Bodacious's Blood. His development mess up there kind of is coming back to bite him.
What glyph did that Iron Golem pick up?
The Iron Golem, yeah, it picked up the Breach of Shielding. That is just off the screen when I recorded it, but Breach of Shielding gives the Iron Golem disengage.
Oh,
that's quite useful there to get around those spiders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty effective.
Yeah, Iron Golem is usually really, really vulnerable to disengage swipes because high defense but low life means you don't want to take automatic wounds, but Breach of Shielding will help him.
Yeah, this is not a great start for Bodacious, considering even if he's able to take out Quahan, there's a Karos right behind it.
Right.
Able to soak up some hits.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting matchup because Bodacious does have a lot of hero killing power on his side with the Iron Golem and Algamo, and they could really put the hurt on Quahan and Karos. But the spiders are excellent screeners. Even with the disengagement glyph, with a map as bumpy as this, it's going to be hard for the Iron Golem to get close, and Algamo still doesn't have any disengage, and so I can see Doc doing a lot of good screening with the spiders.
I also like the sacrifice of a spider here to deny an additional glyph on Golem to keep him from getting extra buffed. Oh,
Right.
and defending.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Even better if it's an indestructible spider.
I'm not sure I would enjoy seeing an indestructible spider in real life too much.
Oh no, that would be the most terrifying thing ever.
Ooh, not the best offensive opening here.
Well, 2 wounds on Quei Han's not bad.
Yeah. Gave the shields to the spider there.
One thing I usually forget about with Boreos is it does have range, so it does not have to worry about fighting Karos too much. Although looks like it might be taken down by Quei Han here in a moment.
Hey, have faith. Have faith.
Hey man, I have as much faith as needed. ?
Okay.
Yep. We'll see how this Quei Han special attacks too. Might just be able to take out Boreos and Raylan here.
Yeah, I like
well
that.
enough.
Mm-hmm. I definitely like that he's still prioritizing hitting Raylan, because once Raylan, there's a lot of defense being thrown with Raylan in play, but once Raylan is down, that's going to change things a lot for BodaciousBlood. And another 3 skulls on that lightning breath is going to hurt.
Ooh, and that is. Wait, did I miss something?
Raylan.
Where did the first defense roll go?
The first roll was on Boreos.
Boreos. Okay.
Yeah, so Boreos still with 1 life, and then Raylan with the unfortunately timed blink.
That's a big yikes. Big old yikes.
Yeah,
Now,
that is not ideal for BodaciousBlood.
Yeah. Luckily, Boreos is still in play. Could potentially do something there. Hopefully, he can start doing some more damage to Quei Han to stem the bleeding, but that was a pretty hefty blow.
Quite a nice use of the spiders here as a screen in the north, even with the disengage, just sort of using the natural terrain to form a pretty good wall where the golem can't walk past as well.
Yeah, Doc is playing his A game today.
It's a nice utilization of that bush there.
Yeah, and being a double spacer, the Iron Golem can't even swing around the north with them because it's going to be on uneven terrain. I mean, I guess he could just stand on the 3 height, but I mean, he's just really, really slowed down right now. It's good map awareness from Doc overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with them,
I guess the question is do you move Iron Golem here? Like, I feel like I tried to move Elgamo more into range, try to get there instead of activating Iron Golem, but I guess we'll see what happens this turn.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting. Because Elgamo, killing 1 spider isn't really big, and this is a really good example of just using the spiders to, you're not even worried about doing damage with them. You're just using them to isolate threats and buy time for your big hero to be able to kill all the stuff. And they're buying a ton of time right now. So even with Elgamo, he'd really only be able to kill a spider if he went for that spider, and he's still not going to make much headway because there is that spider on that really high piece of ground. He either has to go far around it or just stop and kill it.
Yeah, and he was even debating moving that spider there, and that's just not going to do it. Elgamo just doesn't have enough movement. Or not Elgamo, Iron Golem.
It's tough for Golem. Even if Golem wants to focus on the spiders there, the rate at which Doc can bring them up is just going to outpace what Golem can kill. I mean, even if Golem kills 1 a turn, I mean, the rest of them are fairly far away, but being able to dedicate 2 or 3 moves a turn just to pulling up reinforcements to help feed that line is going to keep Golem blocked in for at least a round, if not 2, while Golem's wasting attacks, whittling away at those little spiders.
One thing to note, though, is he could have taken a turn with Talon Golem and tried to get an attack on Quei Han with his 7 range. I don't know if that would have necessarily been better or not, but it's an option.
It's an option. I think it's not a great option, at least until Boreos is gone, just because the trade-off with using Boreos and trying to position somebody else is probably a little bit more effective for the longer game.
That's fair. It's fair.
Boreos won't be around that much longer, sadly.
Yeah. Just as we bring it up, Boreos falls, but I definitely think it was worth getting the attack of 4 in while he could, although it did blink.
Yeah.
And problem with trying to run with Elgamo up there is the spider can just catch up.
Yeah, this is a tricky matchup for Bodacious, that's for sure. I definitely probably should have moved Iron Golem up north, but I think that misplay with Boreos kind of set him back quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely, because it looked like the initial plan from Bodacious was to sort of just try to move everybody completely away from the north and maybe hit the start zone and pick off a few spiders that were standing still while the rest of the spiders pivoted around the northern side. But then Raylan becomes the sacrificial lamb.
I would have almost just sacrificed Raylan there if I would have messed that up. Just because Boreos is still a pretty key figure, or in this matchup, I think, and getting to take out at least some of those spiders in the southern area, while Quayon and the spiders in the north use some movement, I think that could have helped out in the long run. But we shall see.
Yeah, definitely agreed overall. It'll be interesting to see how Bodacious comes back into play with this. I mean, like, if he, like, just the spiders are just so annoying for him right now.
The one thing that Bodacious has going for him now is just mainly just that Quayon is fairly pinned into that corner with where Golem's now moved to. You might have a chance to catch up with Quayon in a turn or two.
Yeah, he'll definitely need some lucky rolls on both Doc and Bodacious' side to at least catch up, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. And it looks like our friend Super Frog just logged in.
Came in to join in, spectating the game.
Come to hang out, do some frog things, you know, the stuff, the works. Oh man, he is just moving Quayon right up in there to take out Ogamo. It's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, I do think it's the right move, though, because both Algamo and the Iron Golem have extra defense against special attacks.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to need that good melee attack. And, I mean, Quayon has, a melee attack of 6?
I believe so.
Yeah.
6 versus 6 isn't terrible.
Yeah, and picking one is the big thing here, too, just because if Quayon picks one direction, the spiders can form up a decent screen to try and block off the other.
Mm-hmm.
To avoid having to fight the two figures with 6 attack at once. Give Quayon at least 1, if not 2 more turns of shots up there. Yeah, and so Doc will pivot those spiders up now to help make another wall with those bushes.
Oof, and yeah 4 skulls on that attack too. That's just brutal. Doc is rolling some fire right now.
Yeah, almost. I was really worried there for a second that Algamo was just going to die. But also, I think target choice is a good thing to note here with Doc going for Algamo instead of the Iron Golem. Algamo has a special attack that he can use to throw 2 attacks of 4 in a turn, which is good against Karos, who cannot counterstrike those attacks. But if he's able to take out Algamo with Quayon, or at least severely injure Algamo, I mean, we'll see how it goes, but if he makes Algamo less of a threat, then when the Iron Golem goes for Karos, he's got, 6 attack against 5 defense, not incredibly likely that he'll get the counterstrike, but it's still more likely than a special attack, which he just can't.
That's true. That is very true. Plus, Quayon is still relatively healthy. Still has 5 life left. Like, Algamo would have to roll really well to be able to take her out in this attack. So, like, Doc is looking pretty nice. That screen of spiders up north, the spiders slowly coming in the south to take out Talongal. Like, it's not looking great.
Hey, don't you underestimate BodaciousBlood's power.
That's true. Every time, man, he'll just come back, take the win. It looks like he is going to go for the attack here, which would be silly if he didn't. It is kind of unfortunate, though, that ramming doesn't get to take part in this little exchange.
That's true. I am curious. Okay, that's some pretty good damage. 3 wounds in a turn. That's pretty good for BodaciousBlood there. I am curious. Do you think you'd usually go for a normal attack of 6 or 2 attacks of 4? I'm not certain which one is statistically better, and so I think it's kind of a player call.
I feel like the 2 attacks of 4, right?
With the 2 attacks of 4, you're likely to do about 2 damage. You're likely to do 2 damage either way. So with the 2 attacks of 4, and two skulls out of 4 attack versus 1 shield. So each one on average will do 1 damage, and then 1 attack of 6v3, you're likely to get 6 hits, 6 skulls versus the 1 shield, which would also be 2 wounds. I would probably go for the 1 attack of 6 just because there's a little bit more variance, and I think that Bodacious is behind enough that probably trying to gain that extra variance would be beneficial. Okay. But in terms of the expectation there, it's effectively the same thing.
Yeah, that's why I think like choices like that are kind of interesting to see which players choose which one. A lower attack from Doc there. Nice block from Algamo, so he'll be able to get in. I mean, initiative is about to hit, so we'll see how initiative goes. But it's entirely possible that Algamo's able to take out Quayon here.
Yeah, and that'll help out Bodacious quite a bit. Algamo will also be pretty effective at taking out some spiders and lump sums with his special, so one can hope.
At this point, my guess is that Doc spiders are mostly going to be trying to focus on pinning in Talongal, just because Karos's fight would be vastly easier if only facing 1 order marker a turn rather than 2. Like, there's not really much of a need to continue moving those spiders up north.
That's true. Yeah, to that end, actually, I wonder... No, it's probably always correct to go for Algamo here, right? Instead of disengaging and Going for Talongal. Dang, that's a lot. Holy cow.
And that's a dead Quahan. Oh, never
No.
mind. I thought that was
Dead Algama.
yeah. Well, I mean, 6 attack. It's easy to get missed, Oof, with Algamo out of the game, this is. I don't think Bodacious really has a chance anymore, right?
I mean, because, now Quahan can go for Talongal. He really needed that initiative switch.
He really did right there.
Yeah. I mean, taking out Quahan would give a chance at least to try and keep Talongal alive with a few lives left. To try and kill before all those spiders are able to completely surround it.
Yeah, plus Talongal is pretty beefy. He has lots of life, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 6 life, 3 defense. Like, he's bound to stick around for a while.
Yeah, he's pretty good for an order marker hub figure. That said, I mean, like, once Quahan gets in there and start throwing 6 attack dice at him,
it will melt
a little
pretty
bit worse.
quickly.
Yeah, but he could take out Quahan here, though. Let's see. Oh,
yeah, I think taking the turn on Talongal himself is definitely the right call.
no,
And it works.
Yeah.
Paid off there.
Yeah, killing one spider in the north would be pretty useless.
Right, yeah, exactly. And now Doc is stuck with just spiders, which, I mean, like, isn't the worst thing ever. The spiders can still probably consistently deal damage to Talongal and get an entangling web roll. That doesn't quite work.
I mean, but it's just the threat of the entangling web, right?
Right, yeah.
It's just out of principle. I mean, some pretty good defense rolls from Talongal there.
Yeah, no wounds taken, so that's a bright side for BodaciousBlood, and I mean that's all he can do at this point is look for the bright side as much as he can.
Always look on the bright side of life.
I wish I could whistle better.
I would, but I don't want to blow out everybody's eardrums.
And fair.
Finally broke through the wall on spiders too, so Iron Golem can finally start making his way back south.
I mean, for now, but there's just so many spiders, and killing them one at a time is just such a chore.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a long grind if the spiders can't do work here. And let's see, entangling web needs to be 16 or higher.
Yep.
Okay, it's like a 25% chance. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
Oh dang.
Oh dang.
That is a brutal blank.
Oof. Iron Golem at 1 life.
MVP spider up there in the north.
Yeah.
Is that the same spider that survived all those attacks on that glyph?
No idea.
I don't know. I have not been paying that much attention to the spiders.
I'd like to think he is that spider.
In our hearts.
In our hearts.
And yeah, it's gonna take BodaciousBlood about another round just to clear out these spiders around Talongal. 2 more there just means 2 more turns that he's attacking them and not doing anything else on the board. Yeah. And meanwhile,
this is looking pretty brutal. And the more time he's using to attack these spiders, Karos can just come up and start wailing on him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see if Doc might use Guilty before Karos here, because Guilty could run up and try to get on that 4 height and pop Talongal for a couple hits of 3.
That's
That's
really
fair.
cool, yeah.
I'll be honest, I completely forgot that Guilty was in this game.
It's easy to miss Guilty, but I mean Karos is like a full round away from being able to move in, so I wouldn't be surprised if Doc activates Guilty first.
Yeah,
probably not this round
Talongal-
because there's still enough spiders to run a full round's worth of spiders. So 3. I would guess that 3 is on Guilty there, actually.
Yeah, I could see that. That also forces BodaciousBlood to come to him so that he's not... I mean, kind of like you said, Karos will take just so long to get across the board that he can get attacks with Guilty and force Bodacious to come to him and not lose a turn worth of it, or a round worth of attacks.
Oh, he was able to take an order marker there.
Although it was on Golem, so
yeah.
could
Thing
be.
is,
Oh,
like,
okay.
doesn't work on large figures. I wonder if he just rolled it for fun, or... I mean, because I don't think there's an ordered or a numbered order marker on Iron Golem anyway, so...
I think that's what Bodacious is trying to think right now, too. Oh, well.
But yeah, at this point, just looking for the Deathwalker roll on Iron Golem there.
I mean, the odds are pretty good if we've learned anything from Deathwalkers.
Yeah, that was Chris Perkins' game.
Yeah.
That was my game. Yeah, that was an interesting one. Alistair failing me at the initial brink.
But those Templar coming in clutch for you, man. That was...
Those Templar could not be killed. Those horses were like the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse there or something, just shy 1.
Yeah, they were out for blood.
That's a very crushed spider.
Yeah, nice amount of skulls. It's always kind of sad to see that many skulls just on a spider. But, you'll take them when you can get them.
Yeah, but now we're just playing the waiting game. Sooner or later, Iron Golem or the spiders will be killed. So
Yeah, it'll happen eventually. I think it's definitely a good idea for Doc to be maximizing his attacks while he has them with the spiders, because, and kind of like we've said, Karos will take too long to get over there, and if he gets lucky with the spiders, he gets lucky with the spiders, and if not, then I mean, he's not really losing out on anything.
okay, he is consistently.
2 out of 2 in a row.
I was gonna say he's consistently rolled 2 skulls on these spider attacks. This is absurd.
And there's the Deathwalker.
That is 1 downed Iron Golem.
So now Bodacious's route involves attacks of 3v5, potentially with if Karos can close the gap with Counter-Strike.
Yeah, that'll really hurt. I'll be kind of interested to see how he uses Talongal to try to combat that. See if he tries to do any kiting with Talongal, or if, I mean, I could see Doc next round putting another order marker on the spiders just to throw on. Oh, actually, I guess the Brooch of Shielding is just right there, so he'll just pick it up. Never mind. So he's
Yeah,
got
the Brooch,
disengage.
grabbing the Brooch will help a lot in terms of being able to run away.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid.
I think that Bodacious needs to move a bit further north here in case that order marker's on Guilty. Like with the Brooch, I think you can try and run away a little bit more here to stay out of Guilty's range.
Yeah, that's true. I do think it's interesting that, do you remember, you get to choose where you drop the treasure glyph, right? I think.
With a 2-space figure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of, I think a very, very small thing. Very small thing. But I think it would have been better to drop the treasure glyph by the jungle tree instead of where a spider could get height on him / Guilty can shoot him without jungle cover. Small thing, very small thing. Just, one of those things I noticed.
Interesting. Doc using his 3rd order marker on Charos here.
I should have taken that order marker 3s on Guilty bet. Although I thought it was on Guilty too.
I mean, that would have made the most sense, right? You would have been able to ping off Talongal pretty good if that was on Guilty.
Well, I guess if only one order marker was on Guilty, he'd be attacking up anyway. So it's I don't know.
It's debatable.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to swing the game one way or another.
Oh, that's pretty aggressive, though.
Yeah, going for the Guilty kill while he's got it. Just 1 skull. Yeah, that's not what he was looking for. If he could have if he killed Guilty right there, then we would have been really pleased with Bodacious's play. But that's pretty sad.
Yeah, that would have been pretty good. Not that it would have been helpful, but not crazy helpful.
Right. Yeah, I almost think it would have been better to ping at Karos to try to get damage in while he can.
Yeah, just get some chips in on Karos.
Yeah, I think at this point, every shot you can take, throwing whatever dice possible at Charos from range. Although Talongal should be able to do a decent job here of running and kiting Charos from range.
Yeah, especially with the Brooch of Shielding, you'll be able to you'll be able to run for a long time. And this is a pretty spacious map. They could just do Ring Around the Rosie for days.
Yeah, that's actually pretty surprising. It works surprisingly well. He can just run around the map pinging off spiders while Charos is trying to catch up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking long and hard on this movement.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to go for the attack from even ground, which, I mean, is probably the quote-unquote correct choice.
Yeah, and it still keeps to where Charos can't engage next turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Doc tries to corner Talongal, because, I mean, with 7 range, he can stay so far away from Karos. Of course, Karos is flying, so he's not quite as impeded by the obstacles, but...
Yeah, Karos' ability to cut corners around the lake is going to help break that chain pretty quickly.
Talongal only has 5 movements.
Yeah, it looks like Doc already caught up to him. Huh, I thought it was going to go on longer than that.
Well, Talongal would have to run back into the start zone at this point and yield height in order to stay away.
Yeah.
No, I like this. I like this play a lot here, actually, forcing Charos to go onto low ground, potentially.
Yeah, that's a good little spot of the map to grab when you're up against a double space melee figure. His attack's not doing him any favors, though.
Yeah, not helping out quite as well as he'd would hope for. Well, we'll see what happens. Talongal already has 2 wounds on him.
Yep, and no wounds on Karos yet. So, I mean, definitely, if we're taking bets, odds on Karos, but... I mean, this is Heroscape. You never know.
This is indeed Heroscape, where the laws of chaos do not seem to hold any power here, or hold all the power here.
Hey, there's a wound.
Start here. So perhaps the bet should just be how many wounds Charos has when the deed is finally finished.
That would be a good way to go about it.
Actually, yeah, I'm actually kind of interested. I'm thinking...
I'm going to say 4.
I was gonna
4
say
wounds.
I'll go under with 3.
3's a solid bet too.
I would go under to 2, but I want to have more faith in Bodacious Blood. Not that it's really faith in Bodacious Blood. It's
At this point, it's just faith in dice.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of strategy involved at this point with those two figures just smashing each other.
Yeah, it's true. It's just kind of rolling dice until it's done.
It's really weird that he's choosing just to stay there to get a height attack down on Charos, even though there's that fear of counterstrike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think it's better to stay there where you have height than to move and get one attack without counterstrike fear, and then Charos is just next to you again anyway.
That's
and
fair.
He's on even height. I think having the extra defense die is nice.
Oh, another 3 skulls.
Hey, there's 4 wounds.
4 wounds right
Four
there.
at least.
Nice.
Some consistent 3 out of 4 hits from Talon Ghoul.
Oof.
And another hit on Talongol. Yeah.
This is just a slugfest.
Riveting action. 1 skull from Bodacious Blood. Is he gonna get counterstruck? No, he is not.
As far as all the figures in Heroscape go, I think few, if any, prefer Slugfest more than Charos.
True.
That's very true.
Or Krug.
Ooh, that's 4 skulls.
True.
This
Krug
is
is a good figure to
Whoa.
have in there. That will do it.
That's the game there.
Yeah, that's a hefty hit.
I mean, that was coming down to it. If he killed Charos there, I don't think Doc could have really. Well, no, they're still guilty. Guilty
they're
could have
still
pulled it through.
guilty. There's still a couple spiders. I mean, it could have happened, but I mean, it's just so unlikely that you kill Charos at this point. And it's really just trusting to the dice.
Yeah, but fairly good game. Bodacious, it just kind of went.
Good game.
Well, I just mean like it just went downhill for Bodacious pretty quick when it did start going against him, and like he just couldn't catch up.
That's true.
It was starting to get a little swingy there towards the end when he was able to start picking off the spiders and he killed Quaihan. But yeah,
I think for having misjudged his mobility powers, basically not being able to move Raylan, I do think Bodacious Blood was able to play it out fairly well. He obviously got just hosed by that, by not realizing that, because that meant Raylan was stuck, that meant his Iron Golem was on the wrong side. And if he'd realized that he couldn't move Raylan with Boreos, I think we would have had a very different game, because he would have been able to develop differently. But for what it was, I think he did pretty well.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad indeed. Any thoughts from you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we all were talking about in terms of sending Golem south on round 1 is probably the biggest difference. But beyond just it taking longer for Golem, I think that also leads to a situation where Boreos isn't able to get north. Because instead of taking those 2 turns on the Golem, if you take those 2 turns on Boreos instead, or at least even just one of them on Boreos instead, to try and get Boreos further north, you can help build up some additional buffer between Quaihan and Raylan. But once the move's been made, Raylan's pretty much a sitting duck, and there's not a whole lot to be done about that. So
yeah, that's very fair.
Mm-hmm.
But good job of picking off Quaihan at least at the end there, and making the spiders work a little bit harder on their own without their bonding hero.
Very true.
Yep, that was definitely good. Also, just really impressive spider play from Doc. Shows you like just how strong those spiders are when they're just, like they're 2 attack, 2 defense, but their 7 move just makes them such a good blocker for Quaihan and keeps her from being touched until you want her to a lot of the time, except for against an air elemental with stealth flying. But
Yeah, and especially good use of those jungle bushes in the tree up in the north there to form up a wall where you can effectively use 2 spiders to cover like a 5-line gap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely good use of the map there as well. All right, well, that is going to wrap up this game for you guys. So if you like this content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more. And we will see you guys all next week. Taylor, Chris, do you have any final thoughts?
Thanks for having me on. It's great talking with y'all. And to anyone listening, Scape is a great game, and Scape on.
Oh, that's a good sentiment there, my man.
That's a great message. Thanks so much for joining us, Chris. It was really great having you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a blast. All right. So we will see you guys all in the next video. So we will see you all later. Goodbye now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.